Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 Ron Howard film. So this is the live action film that came out in 2000. Now I don't own this, so I will probably buy it at some point. I have actually seen it. It is interesting. I mean, it was, I think, it didn't do badly in the box office. It kind of did kind of mediocre because it's strange to see the Grinch Stole Christmas in live action. They got a lot of prestige for the makeup. Apparently Jim Carrey, who played the Grinch, had some issues, but that's kind of what happens when you're in all that latex on your face and the massive Grinch costume. There was a lot of makeup in this film. But of course, yeah, he was not happy. I know there were stories where Ron Howard came to work one day and in the full Grinch makeup in order to show his empathy for Jim Carrey, who was getting ticked off because he's under hot lights, wearing a lot of, once again, full-on face makeup and the latex. So you cannot, except for the voice, you cannot actually, while watching the film, tell it's Jim Carrey, except for it's his mannerisms. I mean, that's the thing. You put Jim Carrey in a movie, whether he's playing the Grinch or not, he's still Jim Carrey. So he just has that type of personality. I know a previous reviewer did an issue where they had that same problem when they put him in a series of unfortunate events. It just doesn't work because he can't, Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey. He can't really play a character. And then apparently when they did the TV show for that, no, I'm not reviewing them, they're depressing. They did something worse. They put, I don't remember the name of the actor. Basically, he's a really, really nice guy playing a really horrible character. So it's like, yes, you're playing an actor who frequently does various pictures of himself with his husband and small children, making him play an evil character. It doesn't work. But again, back to Jim Carrey. So basically, Jim Carrey is playing the Grinch as Jim Carrey. That's probably one of the other stranger issues. But what's interesting about this film, now this came out in 2000, is they, in order to make this a full-length feature film, as opposed to the TV animation that I previously reviewed, they do a whole Grinch backstory here. So they give the Grinch this, they give him a tragic backstory. He was an abandoned baby. He was raised by these older ladies in Whoville. He fell in love with the most popular girl in town in his age group. The rich kid got irritated, started bullying him, and when they reached high school, he was falling in love with this girl, and the big rich guy proposed, and he's kind of, well, he's a douche. And thus, the Grinch became pissed off and ran away and became the Grinch, essentially, and hating Christmas. So, kind of, it gives the Grinch the tragic backstory. It's interesting. It gives him an explanation of why the heck he hates the Who's and why he hates Christmas. So, and it's a very cute story. They also expand on Cindy Lou who is mentioned in the book. What happens in the book is that the Grinch is stealing things. She comes down for a glass of water, and the Grinch has to pretend to be Santa Claus. And I believe he tells her he's taking away the Christmas tree to be repaired. And she buys it because she's a small little Who, and he sends her off back to bed. And then continues to steal things. It also shows the Who is kind of nice. He's a nice thief. And of course, it's a happy ending of the story. So, it's been a while since I've seen this, so I'm going to skim the Wikipedia page. Yeah, they expand on Cindy Lou Who, and with her, they have this, not necessarily a backstory, but they give her a little bit more of a story where she's growing older, and she's grown out of the Santa Claus mindset and all the stuff of Christmas. She's become disillusioned with the Christmas season. And again, you remember the entire point of the book was the excess. It was doing the evils of what the Christmas season in excess, where it's all the materialism and all the stuff. And yes, that was Seuss's point. Unlike some of his other nonsense books, this one was supposed to have a point. This was fully intentional. So again, you have those two little backstories here. You have the Grinch with his tragic backstory of why he hates Christmas and why he hates the Who's, and then you have Cindy Lou who is basically the insert character for the audience. She's the one who's leading you through the point of the original story, which is the Christmas doesn't come from a store. He lays it out, and she's having an existential crisis of what does this all mean, and why am I not happy about Christmas like I used to? Because everybody's crazy about Christmas in Whoville. There's stuff everywhere, and the film does do a lot of showing off using the great set design, if I remember correctly, to show off the massive amounts of excess, which I think Seuss would have approved of. I'm not sure if his wife liked this film. It's always iffy with the family. But nonetheless, so you have this story, and it kind of, once you get the tragic backstory of Cindy Lou Who, it follows the original story where the Grinch decides to steal Christmas, and he dresses up and creates a Santa costume and takes his dog Max and turns him into a reindeer and comes and steals everything. And basically he's about to throw it off, and then Cindy Lou shows up. So as opposed to in the book where he gives her a glass of water and sends her off to bed, she shows up with his, I think she's on his sleigh, and there's a huge thing that goes on. And it still kind of ends the same way, where basically he brings everything back. He realizes that no, he can't get rid of Christmas, and these are the Who's are singing, though it does have him add the thing where the mayor who is angry at the world, he's still very, very materialistic, and he's kind of being bypassed by Cindy Lou and her father, whose name is Lulu Who. Yes. Basically, kind of, he's defending his daughter, and it's like, no, it's not about the stuff. Christmas is not about the stuff. It's about being together. And so, and then of course, that's the Grinch brings everything back, and you have the final scene of his carving the roast beast. No idea what the heck the roast beast is, but that's what it's called, and yes, that's in the book as well. So essentially what this does is, in order to make it feature length, you add the existential crisis of the little who's leading the audience through there is too much stuff going on in Christmas and everybody's too materialistic, and it's not about stuff, it's about being together. And the Grinch's backstory. It's not a bad film. It's obviously not religious. Again, this is a secular channel. I don't cover religious Christmas films. It is a good representation of a lesson we still seem to have not quite learned. That Christmas isn't about the stuff. It's about the family. We may have learned it this season. I don't think so. Americans are really, really materialistic and kind of very much obsessed with ourselves. So are a lot of other countries. We're not alone in this. Most of countries who are obsessed with Christmas, yes, it's still a lot of families. The culture around it is still very much stuff. Though in the U.S., and this is kind of off topic, the whole Black Friday thing seems to be dying, partially because malls are dying. Yes, malls are dying. In fact, as far as I know, there's only one left in my entire metro area. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, there's only one. The two other main ones have since closed, including the one closest to me. So that everything's moved online though. So it's still stuff. And again, the book was originally written, I believe it was 57. Yeah, the book was originally 57. We still haven't learned our lesson. So, but back to the movie. It's a good family film. It does have I think I enjoy the theme song, which I've played quite a few times. It's I can't remember. It's a Faith Hill. It's a Faith Hill song. The other creepy thing about this film that might have gotten off people is its narrator is Anthony Hopkins, so the guy who did Hannibal Lecter. So yeah, that kind of makes it slightly creepy. That's the narrator in the film, and then of course you have Jim Carrey playing the bad-tempered Grinch. So let's see, and we'll just kind of skimming the Wikipedia pages. People who were considered for it: Jack Nicholson, which would have probably been interesting. Robin Williams. I'm not surprised he would have turned this down. I mean, after doing full face makeup and a couple of things from Bicentennial Man to Mrs. Doubtfire, yeah, he doesn't want to do that. Dustin Hoffman might have been interesting. Tom Hanks would not work. It just wouldn't. Tom Hanks is too nice to play the Grinch. He did, however, do another Christmas film that I reviewed, which is, again, slightly creepy animation, which is the Polar Express, my favorite Christmas book, but that's slightly creepy animation. Tim Curry, maybe. Eddie Murphy, I don't know. I don't know if Eddie Murphy would have worked. I think he might be too goofy. Tim Curry might have. But again, some of these actors, they're so famous that they're playing themselves. In fact, that's very much a Tim Curry thing. As well as, of course, Jim Carrey, who he plays himself as the Grinch in a lot of makeup, which was very, very uncomfortable. Let's see. Anything else that's interesting here? I know Molly Shannon, who's a well-known stand-up comic, and I believe she was in SNL, is in this. Yeah, she plays Betty Lou, which is Cindy's mother. Let's see, who on earth plays Cindy Lou Who? Who's a very, Tyler Morrison is the name of her. She was very young. I think she's doing other stuff now. She's one of those cute little girls who turn very punk when they get older. So she was about 6 years old. And apparently it's giving me, I don't remember the book as it clearly. The original Cindy Lou was 2. So that explains why she's being able to send off to bed. Though I can't see that. My toddler is almost 2. I can't see her coming downstairs for water. 1, we don't have stairs. 2, she can't hold a glass at this point. But nonetheless, so they age up Cindy Lou, which makes sense because she's a major character, and it does that. It expands on. It gives you characters rather than the original book. You have the Who's, you have Cindy Lou Who, and you have the Grinch. Those are the actually only named characters besides the dog Max in the entire story. So obviously it's an interesting family film. Again, you have to like Jim Carrey to like this. Ron Howard has a specific style to his films. So that's another thing. If you are not aware of who the heck Ron Howard is, see Happy Days. That's an old 50s movie. He's also done he's a pretty well-known director for family stuff. He's also did the Da Vinci Code films. No, I will not be reviewing those. Those are adult films that are dark. Very dark. Not for children. Nor would I recommend them. Not to mention they're slightly religious and very, very weird. Moving on. So, and again, you have to like Jim Carrey and his humor to enjoy this film. That is one of the little bit of the drawbacks. I don't mind him. So I'm kind of meh. He kind of his star power kind of wore off after a while. He's a decent actor, but again, he's playing himself. So he cannot lose himself in the character. It's always going to be Jim Carrey dressed up as the Grinch. But still, if you're looking for family-friendly Christmas films, you enjoy the book, you like the point, you like Ron Howard films, this is a great movie to show. I don't own it as of yet. I own the original. I believe I own the original cartoon. Either that, I do intend to get it because that's what I remember. I also obviously own the book. I did a review for that as well. But it's a good film. It's not bad. It did okay in the box office. It airs on television at Christmas time if you're looking for it. Let's see. The one thing I did notice that was in the Wikipedia page is kind of funny. It was bypassed as one of the highest grossing Christmas films by a film that I haven't actually seen, another rendition of a British 1998 rendition of the Grinch Stole Christmas. No, it's a 2018 film adaptation of this story, which I believe is an animation. But I do believe that has Angela Lansbury in it. So that's probably why. Jim Carrey is overshadowed by Angela Lansbury because you can't beat Angela Lansbury. I will probably at least do I was a big Murder, She Wrote fan. If you're looking for that stuff, there's a YouTuber by the name of Pushing Up Roses who does quite interesting Murder, She Wrote stuff. I'm also a fan of another film that I will probably review here that's older. It's an older Disney film called Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That's how I learned about Angela Lansbury. Besides, the Disney singing of the Beauty and the Beast. Can't beat that either. But, okay, so that's it for this review. Again, The Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 film with Jim Carrey, done by Ron Howard, narrated the also wonderful actor, but still slightly creepy, Anthony Hopkins, and quite a few other people. Great film, good family, secular film. Want to teach about excess? The book is better, but I think the cartoon is better, but the cartoon is almost identical to the book. So this gives an expanded story if you're looking for a feature-length film with Jim Carrey. Again, you have to like Jim Carrey. But that is it. If you like this review, like and subscribe. I do a lot of other book reviews. I have a whole Christmas review season with various secular books. Again, this is a secular channel specifically because I do homeschooling stuff. So that's kind of the basis for this. So I do homeschooling videos. Again, lots of book reviews and occasionally travel reviews once things get moving again. This is actually being shot in the late spring. It is the end of the pandemic here. So this is the end of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. So by this time, this film, hopefully everything will be done and most of the country and the world will be vaccinated. We hope, and we will be able to travel again. So, but again, like and subscribe if you like this review, want to see more of my reviews, want to see my homeschool stuff, want to see some of my travel stuff. Thank you.